I may not be going herping, but I am about 20 feet from civilization, which is a new record for me. So baby steps as you hear the recycling truck behind us. I haven't uploaded in like 8 days or something, partially just because I've been very demotivated the past week or two, and also because I keep sleeping in too far, and because I've been focused on some of the animals more than usual, because I'm trying to organize stuff, so you don't care. Nobody cares. Anyway, for that reason, I'm doing just a casual Q&A today, as the title says. I asked on Patreon, patreon.com/GoHerping, for some questions. This is where you give me money, and I give you stuff sometimes, like early access videos, and I prioritize stuff like your questions. Who knows if these questions will be reptile related? I feel like they probably won't be, which I'm okay with. I'm probably going to skip the boring questions like favorite animal you've had. No offense, Daniel, but that's kind of a boring question. It's Stan. It's the beardy that came in a couple years ago. Do you still feel the same way you did about spider ball python breeding as you did in a video you made a year ago? I watched a few other YouTubers like Clint's Reptiles with slightly different interesting opinions on the subject that made me rethink my own stance. I tried to watch most of the videos that kind of were like rebuttals to different spider ball python stuff. Clint's video in particular, I don't remember exactly what he said. All I remember is once I was done watching it, I just thought he contributed nothing of value to the conversation, and I thought it was a pretty bad video. Most of the videos had points that were so bad that it wasn't even worth arguing with them because they were just so dumb. So, sorry, I don't like many pet channels. What do you plan on doing after emerald scales? I don't know what this means, because I don't want emerald scales to die. If it did die, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I wouldn't be out of a job. It would kind of suck just because we've put work into it. But the goal would be to make emerald scales self-sustaining, to where I just have to pop in every so often and be like, everything good? Okay, bye, I'm going to go work on this new project. Yeah, because I want to do other projects. I don't know what they are. I have plenty of random ones. Honestly, I don't have any future projects planned related to reptiles, but I don't plan on stopping the channel or emerald scales right now. Yeah, I think I'll always be changing what I'm doing, and most of it will probably be publicly online. So, are you going to watch The Midnight Gospel, considering it's made by the same guy who did Adventure Time? I didn't know Pendleton Ward made something new, so I'll check it out. I watched Bravest Warriors, which he made as well. There's a lot of Adventure Time questions scrolling through this. I tweeted out how Adventure Time turned 10 years old this week, which is really weird to think. It's the only show I've ever watched when the pilot came out, which was, I think, April 7th, 2010. I had just turned 10 years old, and I watched the pilot, and then it was the only show where I waited every week, every Wednesday, and then every Monday, because they changed the day on Cartoon Network, for it to premiere after school. And I watched it every week until season 10 finale, so... it's also the only show I've enjoyed and understood start to finish, but I think that's why there's a lot of Adventure Time questions. Favorite character from Adventure Time? Consistently, it's been Prismo, but it kind of changes each time I watch the show through. I'm like, actually, this is my new favorite character. It used to be Flambeau. I don't know why, but... Have you ever had family or friends be mean to you or treat you like garbage for owning reptiles? I have no friends, so no, and my family doesn't really care. There's like the more distant family members where they're just annoying. Like, they bring up these stories about these snakes that they've killed or whatever, and I've never been treated bad for it, but overall I'm not. Please move faster, recycling truck. Please go electric. Please, can we have electric recycling trucks? Top 5 artists or songs? I don't really listen to music that much. I listen to videos and podcasts mostly. The most consistently I've liked Skrillex, Drulo, who else do I listen to? A lot of lo-fi hip-hop from just various artists. I don't even have 5 to give you. Any tips for keeping reptiles warm during a power outage? I would say the easiest thing you can do is buy heat packs. I would not buy the hand warmers. Those get too hot. We use Uniheat 72-hour heat packs, and you could use those to keep them warm. If it's just going to be like 70 degrees or something, like if you're not in that cold of a climate, I don't think you need to heat them up, most species at least. But if it's going to be like freezing in the house, then you could do that. The dings are new questions, so let me go do not disturb. How often should you handle a boa every day? Is there too much handling? I don't think so. Once the snake's used to you, I don't think you can overhandle unless you're doing it right after they're eating, or if they're showing stress or there's other issues in their health. If it's a healthy animal, if it's eating, and if it's not showing signs of stress, I don't think you can overhandle it. We named my baby a ball python. No, it takes me like 3 years to name my animals. Everyone wants a bearded dragon care guide. I guess I'll do one, but there's so many care guides on beard. Just Google bearded dragon care and they're all the same. I feel like I don't need to do one, but I can. Favorite personal pet? Well, I already said Stan was my favorite, but my second favorite is Betty or Franklin. They're both my second favorites. How's your black rat snake? That's Shadow. I don't even handle her that much anymore. I put a lot of time into taming her down. Black rat snakes, they're native here, and she was a wild caught. And of course, I decided to keep the one rat snake. I've caught dozens of rat snakes, and they're all super docile. And I ended up keeping Shadow for some reason. I don't know why. I kind of tamed her down at one point, and then I stopped handling her. And now she's kind of back to how she was. So she's fine. She eats a ton. And I guess I'll do an update on my personal animals because you haven't seen them in a while. If you had time, money, etc. to do another project apart from YouTube, Emerald Scales, what would it be? Well, I'd have all those things but time to do other projects. That's why I would like to make things more self-sustaining. Right now, my biggest interest is just electric cars in general. I used to hate cars. I used to think that car enthusiasts were really annoying and obnoxious, and I'm kind of one of them, but just electric. So it's less obnoxious because electric cars are quiet. But I've been learning to vinyl wrap for fun, so it would be cool to vinyl wrap people's cars if I got better at it. I still love video editing. I still love photo editing, so I'd like to do some more digital stuff on that side. I still love e-commerce. I'd like to do another e-commerce project. And my goal is to buy a house in the next couple months, which might be hard at this time just because of like not being able to go to houses to see them. But I think buying a new house would give me a lot of new projects to do, like stuff around that house, and yeah, working up from there. Also, if I could do any project, I'd love to have a fleet of electric cars and like rent them out. So that would be kind of fun. I have a folder on my computer just called failed projects, and there's some that I like to pick back up. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. It would be one of my childhood dreams was to make a soda, like a small soda brand. I love high fructose corn syrup. I love cane sugar. It would be like a very sugary drink that is very, very clear about the fact that this is not a healthy drink, because I am addicted to sugar and I can't drink sugar-free drinks because my craving doesn't go away. If I drink like a sparkling ice, which I love, I have to go and then drink a Fanta or drink a Dr. Pepper because I need the sugar or else I can't function. I oftentimes wake up and I can't go back to sleep until I've drank a soda. Fun fact. Do you want anything from the gas station? I heard I could get new reptiles there. What? Could you do a quick video telling my boyfriend you agree that I should get a tegu if you're capable of caring for it, and if you buy it from Emerald Scales, then yes. Are you considering breeding other herps aside from axolotls? Personally, I don't care for breeding. I'm not interested in it, but my girlfriend's the one who breeds the axolotls, and I'm happy with that because it benefits everyone. It benefits people that wants an axolotl, it benefits me, it benefits her, and it's very fulfilling. So although I personally don't want to put the work into breeding an animal, I'd be okay with working with her or other people who want to breed others. I don't want to breed snakes for some reason. I just have no interest in it. We have some leopard gecko pairs that are already paired up. Crested gecko pair, gargoyle gecko pair. So we're new to it, and it's a trial and error thing. So yeah, I'd say most likely we will have some, but it's not a huge priority because there's so many that need to be rehomed. Would you ever own a separate physical facility? Probably. It's not sustainable to do this out of my house forever. Like I said, I want to buy a house this year, and for now it would be in that house, but I'd prefer to lease out an area or buy a second building or build something on land if there's enough land to have that separation, because I've talked about it on Twitter and stuff, but I'm burned out of reptiles. That's a weird thing to admit in the video when it's just a casual Q&A, but I'm fully aware that this is most likely a temporary burnout, which is why a lot of my content, although it's reptile based, it's not actually focused on animals all the time. That's why I dress up in a box and do whatever I want. But I know the burnout is because I have no physical separation. I don't have a living room, I don't really have a kitchen, I have a single bedroom, I don't have an office, it's all animals. And once I get that physical separation, I know that burnout feeling will go away. So I know that I still care about animals and I still care about reptiles, but in the moment, I don't have that separation, and because of that, I tend to just dread working with certain animals sometimes because they're just always around you. So yeah, don't worry, I'm not shutting everything down right now, even if I sometimes get the temptation to just delete website, delete YouTube channel. I'm not going to do it because I realize that that's an irrational feeling that'll go away once I have a separate location. So maybe that's a couple years out, but I think it'll work. My frogs won't stop trying to have sex all the time, and they're all male. How do I let them know that it's okay, but they need to quiet down because I can hear them? I think you are either gonna have to sleep to the beautiful sound of that, or split them up. I don't think there's any in between. Favorite episode of Adventure Time? This changes a lot too. First that come to mind are All the Little People, Jake the Brick, the entire Islands miniseries, mostly the last like 2 episodes, and then the donut one, the Witch's Garden, I think it's called. That's like one of the first episodes, which was always my favorite when I was younger. It's changed a lot. The nice thing about the show is I've changed, like my humor's changed over the past 10 years, and the show's humor changed over the past 10 years, and I feel like I evolved with it really well, and I think my humor was often based on how Adventure Time evolved. So yeah, there's like the first season episodes, like The Witch's Garden, where it's so stupid and so pointless, and then you get kind of more somber, more meaningful sometimes. If you could live anywhere, where would you live? I don't know. I've been looking just for fun on Zillow. I'll look at like every city there is, and so many cities feel the same. I'd like to be closer to water. I am terrified of the ocean. It's my biggest fear actually, but I like being near bodies of water, whether it's a lake, river, stream, ditch behind me. I also love the mountains, but I think living there would be kind of scary to me because it's very rural. And I don't like cities, but I want to be like on the outskirt of a city. And I think you meant for me to answer like Tokyo or something, like somewhere crazy, Mars. But I just want to be on the outskirt of a city in between like the wilderness and civilization. So, have you had any issues with impaction feeding superworms? We've had more issues with mealworms, mostly with leopard geckos and bearded dragons. Sometimes they don't chew them and they don't digest them, so it'll come out of them like a fresh mealworm or fresh superworm. So it's more of a case-by-case basis. I've noticed some animals' stomachs are just a lot more sensitive and need to not eat them. But then other geckos and other beardies eat them just fine. So yeah, that's not impaction though. Impaction would mean that it's truly stuck. I have not had that problem. I've just had where it's gotten stuck. Usually I think impaction with eating certain insects is when maybe they don't have the right heating set up because those temperatures that they have are not allowing them to digest the food properly, or maybe they're dehydrated and they're not having enough moisture, and maybe they're dehydrated so they can't pass it correctly because it's too dry and they're constipated. But yeah, also what's a good alternative high protein treat? I don't know how much protein is in them, but there's a lot of squishy bugs like waxworms, calci worms, which I guess are some kind of larva. I forgot the name. Soldier fly larva. I don't know if those are high in protein, but I know those are nice squishy treats that won't actually impact them. What happened between you and your previous business partner? I did a video on it called How Much Money I've Made from Making Reptiles. From selling reptiles. Knowing what you know about the industry and reptiles, what's the one thing you would do differently at the beginning of starting Emerald Scales? There's a ton of things. Overall, I'd say I don't really regret anything I did because I did the best that I could at the time. But I think the point of this question is if other people want to start a similar thing, what should you not do? And I would say don't trust people. That sounds terrible, but don't trust anyone in this industry. I would say that goes for a lot of industries. Look at like music industry or something bigger. There's so many issues with trust, and I would say you have to be very protective of yourself and your assets and what you do and what you think, especially with live animals, because I don't know, not that the music industry is not important, but if something happens over a song, it's an intangible item, but an animal is a living, breathing organism. So I would say be very skeptical and don't necessarily go in trusting someone, whether that's someone you're selling to, someone you're buying from, someone you're working with, somewhere you're selling, a site you're using, a company you're going through. Try to be skeptical and keep in mind that you're still going to fail at a lot of this. And I would say one of the things I would do differently personally is be more, assertive of things that I want or feel, especially if you're doing it with someone, going into the project, starting at 50-50 with someone else. I would oftentimes see it as an easier route to just be more passive, go with what the other person thinks, because it stops you from having to argue. It saves time. But in the end, I think there's certain things I regret not being more assertive about that were important to me, I guess. So yes, try to stay assertive, stay critical, and stay skeptical. But also, don't freak out if you mess up, because it's gonna happen. Would you ever get a tarantula? Personally, I don't think so. Alice has a tarantula. I forgot, it's Mexican striped knee, I think. It's cool. I like to look at it. I'm comfortable around them. I don't handle them. I wouldn't personally get one, though. But we will take them in if you want to offer us one. You have a couple Uromastyx. We always have a couple. How do you help them shed if it's not really good to bathe them? I don't think it's bad to bathe the Uromastyx. You really need to soak them to help loosen it up. And you just got to be super careful. I don't know if I brought it up or not, but one of my ex-employees kind of ripped the skin off one of our axolotls, and it's still recovering because they were not careful enough. So it almost died. But they're no longer an employee. So also, I don't think they realized that I know that they ripped it off, because they didn't tell me the truth about it. But let's not get into that tea right now. What's your safe word? Bryce, we don't need a safe word. Favorite kind of YouTube videos to make? The unboxings are fun, but I can't do too many of them. I would get bored of them. I'd say my least favorites are just kind of the sitting and talking about an animal. Care guides are really boring to make, but they're good for the channel. They're good to help people. I don't really have a favorite. I like being able to sometimes go build Legos, sometimes do some ASMR, sometimes sit here and talk, and then sometimes just go full-on chaos. Yeah, I don't really have a favorite. I just like to mix it up because I'm always in a different mood. Favorite princess from Adventure Time? Phoebe, Flame Princess. What is your top regret? Can be getting an animal, a transaction, etc. Like I said, there's nothing I specifically regret I don't go to sleep with this deep regret of something that I did, really, because I was doing the best that I could at the time, and I still feel like I'm doing that, and I know I'm going to regret decisions I make now. Transaction. I do regret buying so much Starbucks, because we would always do pickups at Starbucks, and every time I would go get a $5 and 79-cent coffee, and that was hundreds of dollars. Hundreds is not that much. I mean, it is a lot of money, but if I had that was 3 years ago, and I'm trying to get into investing. I enjoy trying to study the stock market, and I'm not good at investing at all. I'm just practicing, and I'm trying to hold stuff long term, but realizing if I had put those hundreds of dollars into investments, they probably could have been $1,000+ by now, if I had invested in the places I am now. So it was good coffee. I regret buying so much Starbucks. I kind of make it sound like I regret getting my Savannah monitor Bonnabelle, because it makes for good content. For one, it's like this angry, grumpy animal. It's like, oh, do I regret this? I don't actually regret it, because she adds for some interesting variety. So I don't regret getting Bonnabelle. I do regret getting as many animals as I have. I think I was complaining about this on Twitter. I really miss the days of having 3 to 6 personal reptiles. At the time, I wish that I had 20+ animals. I wanted to have a big reptile room. But now I just want to go back to that. If I could just have Stan, Betty, Franklin, Sunny, maybe Goby, just a couple, Goldie or something. I really liked having that small amount, but I did not realize it. I missed out on enjoying that small number, because now I have about 20 personals, and I do plan on decreasing it a little bit. Ember, who I keep forgetting to put on the site, I'm selling her. I might get rid of a couple others. And then the emerald scales, of course. There's between 50 and 100 animals at any given time, and I can no longer enjoy that simplicity of having 3 to 5 animals to keep up with, to enjoy, to handle. So I regret getting so many personals, because now I don't want to get rid of a ton of them. Oh, and Rosie. I forgot Rosie is one of my favorites. I like most of them, but I wish I hadn't gotten so many. So, not that it's bad to have a big collection, but I don't like that, I learned. So that's kind of sad, but I can always change the number if I want. It's just hard, because then I'm worried that I'll regret getting rid of one. So, it's a balance. How's the breeder you got earlier this year? The one with scabs all over it? We were able to confirm that it was yellow fungus on this bearded dragon, and unfortunately the bearded dragon had to be euthanized. It was so far gone that it was unsavable, and thankfully we were very careful. It was quarantined in its own closet, in its own room, away from all the other animals. A yellow fungus is extremely contagious, and essentially not curable. Some people have been able to fix it early on, but it's a very slow building thing, and this beardie had it for years. Some things had said it takes up to 6 or 7 years for yellow fungus to kill it, their bearded dragon. And I'm thinking of doing a video on some of the animals that have not survived that I haven't updated you on. So that beardie is sadly one of them, and that was, I guess, last month or something. So that's one of those that did not make it, but it was really sad, because I was really hoping it would do well, because she loved eating and stuff, but they were just so bad. Have you ever lost a pet in your hair when you put on your head? I don't have that much hair, so I can't lose one, but they do often stick onto your scalp, and it's kind of annoying. I don't like having geckos in my hair. Are you making any new care guide videos in the future? There's just so many out there. I'm gonna be completely transparent. I made the care guide videos because I knew they would grow the channel a lot, but now I don't care about growing the channel. It's already at almost, okay, my goal was to hit 420,000 subscribers on April 20th, 2020, but I'm ahead of schedule to do that. And it's weird, but I no longer care about growing the channel. And I think a lot of people say that, but I legitimately don't feel any different when the number of subscribers grows. And overall, I care more about kind of growing financially because it lets me do more projects, and I care about how well each video does. But basically, that was a long way of saying I made care guides to get subscribers, but now I don't really care about getting subscribers, and I don't need to make the care guides for that. But I'm aware they still help people. Especially when we sell an animal, we can link you a care guide if you have questions. So I'll keep doing some. I'm thinking of doing Colombian rainbow boas, I guess bearded dragon, because people won't leave me alone, and maybe a couple others. So they're just not a priority, I guess. Well, that was all the questions. It was perfect timing. My camera battery went out right when I finished. You can check out a playlist with the other Q&As I've done. So that's all I got. More videos to come that I'm working on. So thanks for checking, and I appreciate it. Goodbye.